Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted, with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Joe Martinta. Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting and Life Unscripted. I'm so grateful to have you here today. You're going to talk about starting a new business in these tough economic times. A lot of people have excuses. They have this dream of starting a business, but they're like, oh, I couldn't do it now. The economy is so volatile, but you've made it work, and so are many others. And you're going to share some of the lessons you've learned in getting started in this rather difficult market. But before we go there, I'd love for you to just share with our audience just a little bit about your backstory.
Absolutely. To make a very long story short, I was born and raised in Brazil. I moved to the United States in 2005, and I got involved in painting. I've been in the painting industry for 16, 17 years now. I've done everything. I started as an apprentice. I was managing crews, selling projects, doing everything inside of a painting business until I finally decided to stop doing that for someone else, and decided to take the step and open my own business.
Now, what does it look like when you go from working for someone else and you're working through a franchise called Fresh Coat Painters? Is it hard to transition? What did it look like for you moving into that role of becoming a business owner?
Sure. So my process wasn't that much of a shock, because within my experience, I've worked for another franchise, different company, not Fresh Coat, but to the point that I was doing so well there, they wanted to take me to owner's training. So that was when the light bulb clicked, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna do this for someone else, might as well take the risk and do it for myself. Mm-hmm. So when I connected to Fresh Coat, I had a fair understanding of what the business was. I just hadn't done it myself. So
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. So I've actually never heard. It's funny. I started doing the show 11 years ago, but before that, I probably couldn't even tell you that I knew anything about franchising other than maybe big Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's. I didn't know that so many different types of businesses had become franchised. We had a guy on not too long ago who franchised a laundry service, and it's amazing way that if you've ever wanted to start a business but didn't know what kind of business you could do, there could be one that has an established process that you would fit perfectly into, and you could just, you don't have to start and invent the wheel, as it were.
Right, and that's the beauty of it for me, is having that, like, that cliche thing that you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You have people that have developed the processes, have developed the brand, and now you're taking that and putting on your backpack and going.
Yeah. And when you mentioned you started as an apprentice, I think often some of the first jobs we take on and get geared to end up being something either we're good at or we end up cultivating to something we enjoy and we get good at. I mean, that's how it happened for me in finance. I just started right out of high school, took one of the first jobs, and then ended up being in finance arena. And then here I am 40 years later, still doing finance. But is it like that for you, that you just kind of took it in and got good at it and cultivated it? And
yes. So I'm the type of person that if I'm gonna do something, I really go all in, and I try to be the best at it. So when I moved to the States almost 20 years ago, I didn't know the language. I didn't speak a lick of English. I didn't know anything. And I got somebody who put a paintbrush on my hand and let me go and paint closets, because I couldn't screw up painting inside of a closet, And so I said, okay, one thing that I heard when I moved here: the more you learn, the more you earn. So I said, I got to become good at this, and I did. And then throughout that process was learning the business side of it as well. So it was just, but yeah, as you said, it was something that I cultivated, that I learned to enjoy doing it, and became good at it.
Yeah, I found that for myself. When you learn to do something very well and you make it like a mastery, you begin to enjoy it because like now I'm doing this to the best of my ability and
Right.
it makes it enjoyable. Now in this market, as people keep saying, this market's so volatile, the economy is up and down. Have you found what kind of challenges have you come across starting your new business in this economic time?
It was scary.
Mhm.
It is scary still.
Yeah.
But the thing for me was preparation.
Mhm.
I made the plan. I knew the steps how to take, and it was for me. It came to the point where, okay, how much longer are you gonna give yourself the excuse that you're planning to do this, and when are you gonna actually pull the trigger? When
Yeah.
are you gonna actually do it?
Mhm.
And then it's that thing. It was scary. It's still scary, but it's like anything that's like a big,
Mhm.
impactful thing in your life. It is scary.
Mhm.
Like having a kid is scary.
Yeah.
First time parents, they don't know what they're doing. First time business owners, most of the time, they have a pretty good idea, but until you
Mhm.
actually do it, you don't understand the real challenges.
Yeah.
So yeah, throughout the whole process, yeah, it's a scary process, but if you stick to it, you plan it right, you can do it.
Yeah, yeah, I love that you say that. And in fact, sometimes in the challenges come great opportunities. There was a guy that said during the pandemic, he said, "Okay, I think my laundry business is probably going to go out because most people came to our laundry facility. We didn't really do that much, you know, delivery or pickup or, we didn't do that much where people brought it in. They mostly came in." And he said, "Well, we're probably going to go out of business." But he immediately knew his clients. He had their phone numbers. You get those little slips where they write their name and phone number. So he called them up and he said, "Hey, if you want, since you're on lockdown, would you like that our people come and pick up your laundry, leave it outside your door, and we'll come do it and then drop it off?" It became such a hit. His business even exploded more during the pandemic than before. And, it was just having to do that kind of flip or that pivot of changing how you do things a bit. And it actually
Right.
presented an opportunity.
Yeah. And then, in my industry, the painting is like, what are we going to do? People are not going to want you inside of their homes,
Yeah.
not even for an estimate. So we use technology to our favor. We do virtual estimates,
Ooh.
Zoom meeting. You show me the house, we're able to do everything. And then
Mhm.
when it's time to paint, it's a great. Now people are traveling again. It's a
Yeah.
great excuse to tell people, hey, go on
Get out.
vacation. When you come back, the house is transformed. Yeah.
I
So
love
it's
that. Yeah.
yeah. So it's exactly what you said. It's taking the opportunity and adapting. I don't believe that like the smartest people win or the strongest people win. I believe that people who can adapt to the situation the most. Those are the people that win.
Yeah, adaptability. Now, one thing I heard from a construction worker lately is that during this weird time, it's been really hard to find and hold on to good talent. Like he had a couple properties he had to build on, and for a couple days he called people in and no one showed up to work. Has that been a problem with painters, like finding people to want to come in and work?
Yes, absolutely. You either have two things: either you cannot find anyone,
Mm.
or you get a ton of people interested in working for you that they're not interested in really working. They're interested in getting a paycheck, and that's it.
No.
Uh, so, and in the construction business, you need people who have the talent to do it, who have been exposed to it, who can produce a good quality for the customers.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a challenge, but one thing that has worked for me throughout my career
Mhm.
is I strongly believe in treating people right.
Yeah.
If people feel they're being well compensated, if they feel they're being treated well, not even just money, but like having a quality of life that they deserve,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's easier to retain. One thing that I ask every painter that I'm interviewing is how much you want to make, and usually the answer is like as much as possible. And then my follow up is, but what does that mean?
Yeah. What's
And
that
they
look
have no
like?
idea how to answer that. And I put that seed in their mind is like, okay, so if you make, let's say, $100,000, what does that mean for you? Does it mean putting
Mm.
your kids through college? Does it mean putting, a down payment on a home? What does it mean? And once
Mm.
they find that meaning and they know that they're working towards that meaning, that purpose, it
Mm.
becomes much easier to retain the right people.
Wow, that is so important. I've always heard it say, what is your why for going to do what you're going to do? It's what gets you out of the bed in the morning. If you don't know what that is, you're like, just another humdrum day, going to do that painting again. But if you know that this painting, that I have this goal, this purpose behind it, which is putting my kids to college so they can make a better life, or this family home that we've never had, that's a big purpose and a big why that will propel you to be like, yeah, I want to get out there and push my hardest.
Absolutely. It does make a difference. Like I said, once I start asking those questions to people, they stop seeing as a job and more
Yeah.
like a means to a goal.
Boom.
And
Hey, go.
no, yeah, go ahead, please.
No, I was just thinking about the lotto thing. You hear people say, "Oh, when I win the lotto, I'm going to get this mansion. I'm going to get this, and I want $1 million." And they don't think about, what does that mean if you win the lotto? I mean, because if you, I don't know, you get $2-3 million, great. And I want a Ferrari, I want a big house, I want a mansion. All of those take upkeep. And
Oh yeah.
And so it's like you're not only thinking, you got a big mansion, but you got to clean that puppy, and you got to probably hire a maid if it's huge, and you got to pay the taxes. And so, you got a couple $1 million, but if you just keep with the idea that I'm going to get, tomorrow you're going to be broke, and probably broker than you got started. And so
Yeah.
if you don't have the idea that what does that $1 million really mean? Because, why do you want that $1 million? What does that mean for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
It's finding the purpose, finding the meaning. I think it makes all the difference,
Yeah.
It makes no longer just a dollar amount.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I remember years ago doing this how to cut your budget and save thing. And it was 4 gals or 5 gals in this book who were severely in debt, and they all decided to work together as a team and cut their debt. Well, one of the things they said is they wrote down their ideal day. What would it look like if I lived the perfect day? And I was like, okay, so you write it down and you fantasize, my perfect day is and I get to go to a trip to Paris, whatever. I said, but here's the key. After we finished doing our perfect day, now we wrote down what would the dollar amount be to upkeep that lifestyle. Like if I were to put $1 in everything, like I want to drive this car, what does that cost per year? The gas, la. If I want this house in this neighborhood, what does it cost? The value of that neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. Write that down. And then you break it down to year, month, week. And then you realize this is what I need to make. And then that gives you a starting goal to move towards that. And so all of that purpose going on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So now people are listening in and someone's going, I always wanted to start a business. I don't know if I'm a good painter or anything, but this intrigues me. How do they, could they work with Fresh Paint or Fresh Coat? Do they have to know anything about painting? What does it look like if they want to get started?
So the answer is no. Like they don't, there's a bunch of people in the system who are very successful who don't know much about painting. They will teach you, they will show you, because at the end of the day, you need to know. You need to know what goes into a quality paint job. But if you think about it, what we are, it's a business that's going to sell paint projects.
Okay.
And then that's the main goal, is to sell paint projects. So marketing and skills, people's skills is much more important than the actual skills of the painting skills, because you're going to hire the painters. You don't have time to run the business and paint the walls yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be more about personal skills. Are you able to retain the right people to work with you? And because the marketing, you get help. The branding, you get help. It's a franchise. So like think about McDonald's. When you go into McDonald's, you expect every McDonald's to be the same throughout the world, and the quality to be the same throughout the world. The same thing here. You're going to see the same logo. You're going to see the same trucks coming around. And, it doesn't matter if you're in Houston, Texas, in Florida, or in New York. So to answer the question, painting skills are not mainly necessary.
Yeah.
I think that if you have good personal skills, a good mathematical sense, you can thrive in this environment.
And I'm guessing you'd have to go yourself through an interview process with them. I'm sure they don't take everyone as a possible franchisee. I think you have to be a good fit, I'm guessing.
Correct. Yeah. So it's for me, it was almost a 3-month process from when I first showed interest and I put an inquiry to when I got awarded my franchise. It was about like a 2.5 month period where, we looked into everything. If I was a good fit for them, they were a good fit for me. And if we thought that this relationship could, make sense for both parties. Yeah.
Yeah. And there is a monetary, skin in the game. Like if you're interested as a person listening in, you are going to have to put some skin in the game because they're going to be there to be your backbone and help you get the marketing and the training. So there is that monetary investment as well.
Correct. Yes. So yes, there's your franchise fee, and that you need to pay beforehand, even before you start opening the business. Yeah. And then obviously, as continued support is given to you, you're gonna have your monthly royalties. That's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is awesome. If you were to leave one, now I also we'll leave another question after that, but if you're going to leave one advice for a new business owner who wants to start in franchisee business or, even fresh coat painters, what would be your first line of advice for them?
Do your research, bar none. It's one thing to like, oh, I've heard this, I've heard that, but do your own research, not only about the company, but the market that you're going to open in. Like there was a bunch of options for me to different companies, different territories, and I knew I wanted to be with Fresh Coat, and I knew I wanted to be in the Cypress area in Houston, Texas. So unless those two things happen, I wouldn't have done this. And unfortunately, I was able to do so. And that was based on research. So yeah, do your research. Make sure that you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's.
That's perfect. Now, one more last question to end out is there's a lot of business owners who have teenage kids. I want to get them out there, get their lazy bums doing something for the summer. Is this a good viable thing that they could work with you or other people in that arena if they wanted to be, say, a painter?
Absolutely. So a teenager can do these door hangers. They like we do a lot of like grassroots marketing, like putting in flyers, door hangers, that kind of stuff. They can go out and get their feet wet in the work environment and start like doing some stuff. Absolutely.
Great. And how would they make contact with you if they wanted to work with you, or anyone listening in feels they want to make contact with you, either work with you or find out more about you or Fresh Coat? How could they do that?
Sure. So my phone number for the business is 346-541-4043. That comes directly to me, Fresh Coat Business. And you can go to our website, which is freshcoatpainters.com /locations/Northwest Houston.
Awesome. Well, I thank you again, Joe, for coming to share your great wisdom today. I know you were very insightful to everyone listening in, even people who are considering, I want to do a business of my own. Never thought what it could be, but this could just be the answer for them. Do your research, people. And thank you so much, Joe, for coming to Savvy Broadcasting today.
No, I appreciate so much the invitation. I'm glad to be here. And hope everybody that's listening, they hope they have all the success that they want.
Awesome. Thank you.
Like, subscribe, and share this episode. To listen to more savvy episodes and savvy biz tips, go to www.lifeunscriptedradio.com. To find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest, email Christina at lifeunscriptedradio.com.